they're wasting time because people are not answering the phone. This is like this terrible like process. I'm like, oh my God, like they'd be complaining, they'd be crying. They'd be like, oh my God, oh my God.
What are some of the best automation tools you would recommend? You talk about certain messages that you actually send to all the customers.
Hey, Miss Susan.
What's your unique selling proposition?
Created more problems. $1,500 to $20,000. People really don't know about you. Other social media feel like it's more of an indirect form of marketing. People only go to Google because they don't know who to call.
So in a nutshell,
use AI.
Hey everyone, welcome to the episode 6 of the HVAC Hotshots. I'm more than thrilled to have Joel Verley, the Sales and Marketing Director from Reliable Heating and Air, based in Knightdale, North Carolina. Joel, thanks so much for joining us today.
Sure. No problem.
Let's start
with me on.
Let's start with a personal story. You have been in the HVAC industry for over a decade now. What initially drew you to this field?
So, what led me to this field? I guess, I didn't choose the field. I would say that it chose me, and as cliche as that may sound, I didn't have any prior information. It was a time in my life, coming from a bad time in my life where I was coming out of trouble after doing some things. You can ask me questions about that if you want, but I'll just go straight to the point. I needed to find a job, and this is the first job that I found was doing heating and air conditioning. And from there, me being who I am, I just tried to excel in that job. And I just kept going up and starting to own a business, and then just kept on moving along. And here I am.
So, the first job, it was actually in this industry itself, yeah?
Well, it wasn't really my first. This wasn't my first job. It was my first job after a bad situation that I found myself in, transitioning back into society. This is my first job. So this is the only job I've had in the last 12 years, was doing heating and air conditioning.
I see.
Before that, I did carpentry work. I worked at McDonald's. That was like my very first job ever. I worked at drywall, framing, and hanging sheetrock. Worked at a framing and hanging sheetrock company. So I've worked at construction and home trade service companies.
Crazy story, man. Crazy. So you have got your foods in different industry, and then you said, then you tried this one and said that, hey, this is gonna be the stuff that I'm seeing myself working in the next couple of years. So
yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was this opportunity, and it was like I needed some money. I needed to
provide for my family, and I had 2 young kids, and try to do things in a legal way and not go back to an old lifestyle. So it was like, I need to learn something, and I need to figure out how I can make good money doing something productive. So
I found a guy. He was like a mentor to me. He worked at the first company I was at, and he told me what to do. Told me, how I could take certain classes. He told me about a trainer, and I went and I took the classes, and I got licensed to do this job, to do heating and air, because he told me the company I was working at was a new construction company, and new construction companies, they only do good when the markets are good, when people are building houses. And as fast as the economy turns down and no more homes are being built, they were going to hire me. They were going to lay me off. So he told me the only way to ensure that I will continue to have work all the time, this is what I wanted to do, then I need to get a license so that I could do it for myself.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yep. Before we dive deep, I want to let our listeners know that today's conversation is going to be pretty much focused on the marketing and sales side. I've had many HVAC owners on the podcast before as well, but with you being a sales and marketing director, I'm really looking to kind of learn and share those strategic tactics, because again, I've been actually seeing a lot of posts on few of the HVAC Facebook groups, and a lot of guys are actually really having difficult times with their marketing and with their sales stuff. So we'll be mainly focusing on that questions and on those specific areas today. And yeah, I noticed on your LinkedIn you have this mission to automate the routine so we can focus on what truly matters. That's pretty intriguing. Can you tell a bit about that? What exactly do you mean when you say that?
Okay, yeah. So automate the routine so you can spend time with people or things that matter. It really boils down to a philosophy that I believe in, where you automate things and then you delegate things, and then there's some things that you just have to do yourself. And some people may have more different levels to this, but things that can be I automate. Things I can delegate, I delegate, so I can spend more time, my max amount of time, doing the things that only I can do. Because we only get a certain amount of time a day, 24 hours. So how I spend my 24 hours and how somebody else spends theirs is going to see how effective they are, how efficient they are in getting things done. So when I learned about, computers and learned about processes and integrations, to provide a good service to your customers, with basic stuff like the end of the job closes out and a Google review request gets sent to them, but not just one time, but when it can put them inside of a campaign, and then they can have some real heartfelt messages to kind of pull that review out from that customer at different times of the day through different mediums, text message or email messaging. That helps out a lot because you have to build your brand recognition. Every call you have to grow, this feedback. And then you have to answer them, right? You have to answer the Google reviews, so you can automate that too. So now you have a complete automation machine that is answering the Google reviews with good quality responses, good SEO quality responses. So that takes care of itself now. So you don't have to worry about doing that. You don't have to worry about somebody else doing that. Now the time can be spent doing something else. That's just one process. Another process that's killer, that automation, is, most companies, they have the CSRs. They're just calling people all day, calling, trying to get stuff on a schedule, calling, trying to, get maintenances and stuff on a schedule. That takes a lot of time, and then on top of it, like, they're wasting time because people are not answering the phone. And then people call them back when they're on the phone with somebody else and they got to leave a message. This is like this terrible, process. I'm like, oh my God, this is so, ineffective, and I didn't have a lot of people to do these things, especially in the beginning, of my journey where I had to start a company from the ground up. I didn't have the resources to be hiring 10, 12 CSRs, and just let CSR waste their whole day calling 150 people only to schedule 5, 10, 15. What I do, I got a software that I use. I actually have my own software. It's called Mac Now, MacNow.io, Mac Now. And what it does is it campaigns. It sends out messages and to the customer base, to your members, and you put links in there to where they can schedule automatically into your CRM. So when I found out about that automated process, the game changed. I've been doing this for over 7, 8 years, automating my memberships. That fills the schedule up just like that. It'll max out the schedule, make it rain on the calendar. Boom! I'd be having the CSRs. They'd be complaining, be crying. They'd be like, "Oh my God, oh my God, everybody!" Because sometimes people call in. Sometimes people are going to call in. Sometimes they'll click and they'll schedule themselves. The schedule is going to max out. I love that. I love it so much because it's just like instant work, instant, jobs going to, and jobs make money, So, yeah, I love those processes. I have a lot of other ones, but those are the ones that are really good. You want to hear about all the processes?
Love it. Three follow-up.
Go ahead.
3 follow-up questions here. First one: what are some of the best automation tools you would recommend to anyone watching this?
Okay. So the software that I use, MacNow.io, it has a lot of capabilities built into it. And you can just go to the website, free account, that you can sign up and test drive it. And if you have any issues, you can reach out to me. I guess you'll have my information in the podcast there. It's MAC.
And I wanted to create that because I needed something for myself that worked really well. So got my fingerprint on it for heating and air conditioning and service contractors.
But other than that, you would, your Zapier, gotta have your Zapier. If you need account, if you don't have, the software I have is all built into it. But if you're going to stick build something, you're going to have some Zapier. Zapier connects a lot of things. You need to have Calendly. You need to have a CRM. Either use a House Call Pro. I use Service Titan. You need a robust CRM tool that can allow you to schedule, book people onto the calendar through a link. And, so you can use that. Keep up with your memberships. House Call Pro is I used it before. I grew it. And we use Service Titan for like the last 3-4 years. But you need something that's robust, that can help you market effectively. So those are like the
Makes
basics. You need something that's Service Titan has a lot of different things inside of it. And, they're going to charge you. They're going to charge you. And their tools are not as open when I mean that you're limited on some of the amounts of messages you can send. So they have restrictions, in other words. So, you have to use something a little, a little different, a little more automatic to it.
Yeah. Makes sense. Another question. You talk about certain messages, which is kind of, that you actually send to all the customers, asking them for a review. Yeah. Would you mind telling us a bit more about that? What are those messages? What do you actually put that there?
Yeah. So you want to make it as genuine as possible. And it's always about improving. You want to improve your company and make sure the experience was good for your client or your customer. So the first message is something like really easy. Hey, Miss Susan, I know you had a service call with Tony today. I hope everything went well. If it did, could you please share your review with us? And if it didn't, feel free to give me a call. Here's my personal phone number. So it's just like a simple, message that goes out with the link to the review. And if they want to go ahead and leave a review, because this is feedback. You want that feedback.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent. You want that feedback. There's gated. You can use gated, reviews. I don't like to use gated reviews. I would suggest not doing that. If you're scared, don't be scared, because the psychology of people, they're really not going to leave a bad review unless you've really done something crazy, or unless they're just crazy.
True.
And even a bad review is an opportunity for you to comment back on that and clarify the point. And you can get a lot off in that clarification. That's a big opportunity to present your company, because people, when they go read reviews, they read the bad ones. So when they read that, they're going to read your response to it. And that is the game right there. I love, I get a bad review talking about, oh, they were too expensive. It was too, oh, come on, yeah, that's good. You know what I mean? So now when people read it, they know we ain't no cheap company. You're going to get value. And then I'm going to comment on that. And I'm going to explain to them. I'm not going to say anything mean to the customer. I'm just going to explain how, we're in business to stay in business, and that we have families that we have to provide for, and that we need insurance, and that we're trying to provide for our community. So everything's not free. We have to charge a certain price that's fair, that's market price, so we have to do those things. So it just gives me an opportunity, a platform to stand on, and talk about pricing. So.
Makes perfect sense. You talked about the automation and stuff. Another follow-up question on that. Do you also kind of integrate AI, to kind of automate after hours call, or do you have maybe a call center or any sort of people sitting over there who are taking all the after-hour calls?
Yeah, you got to. You have to have the phone manned at all times. So that's been a certain challenge, over the years. running a company, how do you man the phones 24 hours a day? And if you're a small company, you have to do a lot of the grunt work yourself. You have to have the phone on
Mm-hmm.
you, and then over time you may say, okay, you got a cell phone that's just for the technicians that's on call. So somebody, catching those calls. And if you get more and more professional, and understand that technicians are not going to
Mm-hmm.
readily want to answer that phone when they are on call. They want to spend time with their friends and family also. So how are you going to
Mm-hmm.
conduct business and not put it in someone else's hand? You have to start going to a
True.
call center. You get a call center and you get the rates. Hopefully you're making some good money if you know how,
Mm-hmm.
you know how to sell and you know how to make good revenue. You can afford it. It's going to provide money for you. It's going to make you have money. You get a good call center that integrates with your CRM, somebody that can put the call in for you. That's what we have. So they're using our CRM. They're not passing messages. They're using our CRM. They're booking. They're calling their
Mm-hmm.
technician. So it's just like if it was somebody on our staff doing it.
Gotcha. Makes sense. We are also
Mm.
testing the AI on few of our clients, and it seems to work pretty well. And as AI is gonna kind of develop and be a bit more advanced, I'm pretty sure the after our calls could be handled with AI as well. But yeah, the
Oh
tips that you
yeah,
shared,
yeah,
it's pretty good.
yeah. But the AI, it is very well. I haven't explored
Yeah.
too much with the voice part of it yet. The messaging, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Closebot, I mean, it's
True.
just game changer. I got that integrated into my software. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the voice, it's going to come and it's going to be really good. I've heard some examples,
True.
but it still has a little catch. It's a little catchy sometimes. Um, but it's going to be there, and then absolutely use it.
Yeah.
Absolutely use it because it's going to take away like all the frustration. It's going to get all the information. It's going to take the person that was doing that thing, and you can move them to something else. Now they can be a coordinator for install
True.
department. They can do something
True that.
else than just answer the phones.
Exactly.
You know?
Makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Mhm.
Now kind of shifting to another question here. In a competitive industry like HVAC, you know how great and how competitive it is. How does reliable heating and air differentiate itself? What's your unique selling proposition?
Yeah. So yeah, over time you have to develop this, and some people can come up with it. And in a day of AI now, you can really like have so many ideas at your fingertips. You can come up with
Mm-hmm.
something really, really fast and creative. Back in the day when I was doing it, it was kind of a lot harder, especially if you got a high demand of calls you got to do. You're under pressure. You got to order equipment. You got to do this
Mm-hmm.
and do that. It's permits and inspections, so you don't really have time to get too creative sometimes. But
True.
how mine has developed over the years with this company, because I had another company before, but with this company, it's a primarily new construction company. Especially when I came here, it was
Mm-hmm.
all new construction. I've been able to grow the retail department for the company,
Mm-hmm.
and but the clients that we were working with already had new systems because it was new construction.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a
Yeah.
unique problem in that, how could I make money from new systems? Like people
Mm-hmm.
don't like new systems. You can't change out. Change out is where
True.
the money comes
Mm-hmm.
from. So what we got really
True.
good at was selling indoor air quality. Indoor air quality,
Mm-hmm.
and I put together indoor air quality framework and packages and taught my guys, about indoor air quality. And now we have packages where we sell indoor air quality anywhere from $1,500 to $20,000 packages and people buy them to customize and personalize their HVAC system. To have the best
Mm-hmm.
indoor air quality that they can have, to not be ashy with chapped lips, or to have their crown molding cracking in their system, to have the PM, the particulate matter, the dust particles all in the air, to have that stuff gone, and it's
Mm-hmm.
automated. It's an automated indoor air quality system, so they don't have to worry about it. And then the first step,
Mm-hmm.
how we kind of get the customer, knowledgeable about indoor air quality is we sell them a monitor, indoor air quality monitor that reads like 9 different indoor air quality metrics. So now they are aware of the problems that they have. They're aware of the indoor air quality. They're aware of the high PM 2.5. They're aware of the VOCs, the high VOCs. They're aware of their humidity is crazy and goes up and down and swings. They're aware if they have radon leaks up in their house. They're aware of, different things that this thing is measuring, the pressure differential inside their house, no ventilation. So now I created more problems. I showed them more problems. Now what we do, we sell them indoor air quality stuff. We fix the problems. So it's awareness. So it's just a device, and then that's
Love
the
this one.
air quality game. Yeah. Giving them game. It's that game right
here. Do that. This one is so good. So you gotta educate your audience. You gotta, you gotta kind of sell them something which is or which might be an actual problem. This one, I just fucking love it. So yeah, coming to the other one, what channels have you found most effective for generating new leads?
Yeah, this is a good question. And for a home service HVAC company, we have to understand that this is an industry where people really don't know about you and they don't really care about us until they need us. So you need to be where they're going to go looking for you at. So there's 2 different types of marketing, how I understand it. You have direct marketing, where the customers they're coming to Google when they have a problem. So they're searching. So you have to be on Google. You have to be having your Google campaigns, your website needs to be optimized. You need to have maybe run some PPP, some PPC ads. Make sure you're using Google My Business, which is very, very good. You and all of that, make sure all that is tight. It needs to be good, nice and tight. Getting your reviews, nice and tight. Because when they come searching, you want them to see you. You want them to see your offers. You want them to see the brand. So that's what's going to produce the most, and the best leads. Using Yelp, I've used Home Advisor, I've used Angie's List back in the day, and I've used Thumbtack. Some of them are kind of like, I don't really know, man. Like I've done work. I've gotten work from all of those. I have not used Thumbtack or Home Advisor in like over 3 or 4 years. So maybe they have changed some of their practices, and maybe some of the lead values are a lot better. Yelp now is on a come up. I feel like I've actually landed a lot of Yelp deals because I have somebody that is monitoring that. So I put a person in place. That's what they do. But if you have a lot to do, then you can't really give the attention that the Yelp may need, then that may be an issue. But Google, you can't go wrong with Google. Can't go wrong with that.
True.
Other social medias, I feel like it's more of a indirect, form of marketing. Meaning like it's social media. It's like a party, right? So it's like you go to social media because it's social. It's just like going to a party. You don't want to be in social media where it's like, hey man, look at me, I set up air conditioning. Can't be trying to sell people on air conditioners. Yeah, at the party, man. It's like, come on, just chill, bro. So it's like you got a nice page. Your brand is gonna match. You're there, but people want to see people on social media. So you have to post pictures of your team, post pictures of things y'all do. Post, you got to mix it up. Like post reviews that customers have left you, with a picture of a person. It doesn't have a picture of them. It's just a review, picture of a person, a nice house setting. You're painting the mind of people, when they go through social media. Oh, that's a company that does heating and air. Oh, they're just looking through stuff, they're just scrolling. But then what happens is you become imprinted and branded in their mind. So now, whenever they do have a heating and air problem, they're not going to go to Google. People only go to Google because they don't know who to call.
True.
That's why they go to Google. Once they know you, part of the know, like, trust method, once they know you, that you do heating and air, they're going to call you. I just got a call today. You know, they usually come in through your messenger, to your DMs. They're going to come in. They're going to be like, hey, I'm like, hey. They're like, hey, you still do heating and air? Yeah, you know I do heating and air. That's why you hit me up. And then boom, you know, then you just transfer it over, you know, get the service call going. But it's like an indirect way. Now, there's some people that will say, you know, you can run ads, you can do this, and you can do that. Yeah, you can. You can. And if you are, the success that I've had with using social media to run ads is you can always encourage maintenance. You know, maintenance. You can't pre-sell a repair. You know, people are,
True.
when they need repairs, they're like, you run repair ads on social. It's like, they're going to see it. They're going to be like, my AC work. You know, and if it's like, they're not going to, it's not talking to them. And if they do
True.
see it, and they already called somebody, you know, they already called somebody because they knew it was cold this morning. So they woke up, they got their phone, they went to Google, and then they found a company, and then, you know, they called. So on social, you can inspire people to do maintenance. You can give them special deals for maintenance, you know, to prevent their system from breaking down, and then you gotta go do your sales thing from there. But yeah, that's how I use the different channels.
Makes sense. So in a nutshell, you would suggest to mainly start with the Google side of stuff, be it PPC, SEO, and the Google Business Profile stuff. That's kind of getting a lot of leads lately. We are also using that for our clients, and it's one of the best source, I would say, in terms of quality and quantity of leads as well. Other than that, you would suggest to kind of it's actually okay to kind of focus on Yelp and other directories as well, because again, it's all about getting leads here. Because lately I'm also seeing, you know, a lot of hate about these directories on several platforms, because people have had pretty bad experiences with that. But again, it's really what works for you, you know. So yeah, makes perfect sense. A follow-up question on your marketing. I'm actually reading a book, They Ask You Answer. It's by Marcus Sheridan. It's an incredible book about content marketing. Are you guys also leveraging content marketing right now? Are you posting on Instagram, on you know, other stuff, kind of educating the audience?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have a method. It's probably a lot of people know about the 3E method. You know, you want to engage, you want to entertain, and you want to educate, you know, people. And then it's a social media thing. So, you know, just like watching TV, you're being entertained, you know, for 20 minutes out the half hour, and then the next, you're going to have some commercials, right? So you got to blend it up whenever you're doing your posting. And you got to post to all the social media. You got to be on TikTok. You got to be on Instagram. You got to be on Facebook. You got to be on LinkedIn. You got YouTube. So I got all of those channels, all of them. Now, I'm about to open a Pinterest. You know, I'm about to put it on Pinterest too. You got to be everywhere. You know, especially now since Google lifted their little shadow ban they had on like the social media content. The stuff is showing up on Google now, showing up like SEO. So now make sure your posts are legit, good. Use AI to write the stuff for you. It's so easy now. You know, it's consistency. You just have to do it. You just have to do it now. Because there's no excuses. You get good pictures. You know, what we do is every year we get a professional photographer, and I have a list of shots that I want to get, you know, of people doing different things in the business, from in the office to out in the field. I want the whole sales process photographed, you know, the different pieces of the process. I want a professional to shoot my shots. So now she goes and she shoots the shots. So then you get those shots, put them in a folder, and then you put those on social media, and you talk about the process. So before, you want people to know, you're trying to put the story in their head, you know, like, hey, when you're You wake up in the middle of the night and your thermostat is broke. So we got a shot of a customer looking at her thermostat. So, but that's needed. And then we got a picture of our service tech, talking with them, with our brand. You don't want the other pictures, that are like, I can't remember what are they called? The stock photos.
Yeah,
Stock, stock photos. Man, everybody got that same guy with that yellow hard hat,
exactly.
on all day stuff. Like he worked for everybody's
True,
company. How did dude work for
true.
everybody's company? It's so funny, but you want to invest a little bit of money if you can. Somebody got a nice good camera. Get some good logo shots. Get your team involved. Get them all. And then take pictures of your team, headshots of your team, because those go a long way too. When you're telling personal stories about your team members, that's all part of the content marketing. Then you get educated. Educate them. With stories about experiences and things that you have seen and things they might want to be aware of. Just give them information, just talking to them about it, because education will bring, just like with the indoor air quality, we're educating them about indoor air quality, and it brings money because now they know. If they know, then they'll do something different. The people that's not going to call is because they don't know. Like once they know
True.
knowledge brings about solution. It's like, oh, I didn't even know that was a problem. Yeah, it is. Okay, let me go ahead and get that fixed. Okay, so it is. You give and you get. You give and you get.
Makes sense.
Yep.
I'll follow up on this. How do you exactly measure the success of a specific marketing channel? Do you use certain metrics?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to keep track of your stuff. Google Analytics, keep track of a lot. Software that I use, Mac Now, we integrated all of our social medias and everything inside of that. So it tracks all of our metrics across all those different channels. And then it also has distribution, so, you don't have to go to each one of these channels. You can just make some posts, make a couple edits maybe for different channels. But then you just put it in distribution, and then it goes out to all the different channels. So you got to have that, or else it's just like so much work. It's like, how do you produce like all this stuff? You just got to hit distribution, man. You got to hit distribution. But marketing, you got to measure, and you got to be able to measure your results and what's working on some places. It may not work on other places. But you just got to start first. You start with doing something, and then you start reading the data and seeing like, okay, I'm getting a lot of likes, impressions, comments over here. You leave your phone numbers, with your CRM tool. Hopefully, you can make set different numbers. If not, they have other software. I think like CallRail back in the day I was using, where you can put different numbers on these different lead generation sources, so that when those numbers light up, where they came from. So now you can know where to spend your marketing dollars at. What may not need your marketing dollars. Yeah. So you have to be able to do that. Otherwise, you're just marketing blindly. You're just doing things.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. So start with everything, then double down on what's already working. Yeah. Makes sense. Let's talk about
things that's
stuff.
not working. You just got to change it. I'm sorry.
For sure. No worries. Yep. Talking a bit of sales stuff. How do you exactly train your team to kind of persuade and actually close deals? Do you have some tips for that?
Oh yeah, you gotta know how to sell. Everything starts with a sell. Sales and marketing. So you gotta be out of strategy. You gotta know how to sell. It's not that, but people are not going to do it. You have to have a written sales process. Right? It has to be written. It can't be freestyle. It can't be, this is how you do it. It needs to be written, the sales process, and what person needs to do, a salesperson needs to do, and how they need to treat the customer, and the questions that they need to ask. And after it is a written process, you have to role play. You have to role play that heck out of it. And that's the part that gets a lot of people really antsy, and it's like so uncomfortable. And yeah, it is uncomfortable. It is awkward. To sit here with your
Mm-hmm.
colleague and you're playing like you're Miss Mary and he has to sell you and go through the sales process. It's very awkward, but then you just get over that. You just make it light,
Mm-hmm.
make it a safe place to where y'all can talk and discuss things, openly, but where if you mess up, it's all right. That's why we're doing it. We're not doing it because you're good. We're doing it to get better. So you're going to be, better at it. So you just practice during your weekly sales calls, your weekly meetings, which you have to. That's another thing. You have to have weekly meetings, and they have to be effective. And you need to role play, and you role play with everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and then they get good. And so that's just going through the sales process, role playing the sales
Mm-hmm.
process. So it feels like it's a part of them whenever they're in the house. So now they're no longer thinking about what do I want to do, what am I going to say. You can turn this off, and now you can just act. Now you can just be. Now you can be yourself. Now you can show your personality, which that's what humans are going to attract to. You're going to connect with you when you feel comfortable inside their home because you know that you're a professional, that you're the invincible professional.
Mm-hmm.
You're trained. You're an expert. You do this all day long. There's nothing that they can say or do that's going to throw you or shake you. When you have that confidence and training, then you can spend time on connecting. You can spend time on
True.
talking about the dog, asking about this, those flowers, and da-da-da. You run through the sales process. You know what I'm saying?
True.
The next thing is you got to be able to close. You got to be able to close. And with closing, there's going to be objections, right? You got to have objection training. So that's the biggest thing is getting to yes. So how can I
Mm-hmm.
handle, the price objection? How can I handle, I need to think about it, objection? How can I handle, is this a brand issue, rejection? How can I handle these objections? And you just role play those too. You get and a lot of those things, see, you break those objections in the beginning of the sales call. Like you have to get and gather information that's going to break the sales objection at the end. And that's why you have to have a process. Because if you don't think like that, and if you don't have it, where this is, if there's a reason why I asked the questions I asked in the beginning, so I can bring them
Mm-hmm.
up in the end and say, well, earlier you said, you know, I know earlier you mentioned about this. So I'm breaking objections because people by nature, um, they start to have a lot of hesitancy whenever it comes time to close the deal.
True.
Is this the highest price? Is this the best price? And if you're going to let them shop you, and try to find the lowest price, then you're never going to be able to make money. You're going to have to
True.
sell it you can't be the lowest price in the market. Like you can be, but who wants to be the poorest HVAC company in the market? Because there's
True.
always going to be somebody that's going to be selling it lower than you. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
build value, and they'll know that you're more expensive than other people, and they still buy it from you. That's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll lose a sale to somebody that sold it cheaper than me all day long. But when you lose a sale to a company that sold it for higher than you, that should keep you up at night. That should keep you up at night,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I do to company. They'll buy from me even if they get some other quotes from other companies, and their quotes were cheaper. They'll still get from me. Why? Because they know that they want that value. This ain't transactional. This is a relationship. We're coming in
True.
professional. You want professional? We're gonna deal with this for the next 15 to 20 years. This ain't just a little small thing that we're putting inside your home. You about to have a relationship with us. You're gonna have to get this thing
Mm-hmm.
maintenance. We have the processes, the frameworks already for you. Everything you talk to multiple people. We're not a company that's gonna be gone, in the next year or two. We're gonna be here for you, and we showed that from the beginning. So,
True.
all those type of things, um, and then some real sales, like, um, it's a lot of cool things, like, how you ask questions,
Mm-hmm.
the way that if a customer has a question, how you can flip it and turn it into a
Mm-hmm.
closing statement. So there's some books that I've read that has a lot of good information in them. Um, can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. It's been a while. Every now and then I go back and reference it because I already have my own
Sure.
documents now. I took stuff out. But it's a lot of interesting concepts that you can use whenever it comes time to close the sale.
This was so good. One thing I would want everyone to kind of pick from this podcast, it would be role play. This is so underrated. I've seen people, being hesitant in doing this for whatever reasons they're having in the mind. But again, if you want to actually sell, you have to persuade, you have to sell yourself in your mind before actually selling to someone else, right? So this was so good. Coming to the other part, looking at ahead, what are the strategic goals you're having for reliable heating and air? In the upcoming years, what are your plans? How do you plan to scale this further?
Okay, good question. So yeah, like what is the end goal? Like what are we gonna how are we gonna handle this thing? Um, Especially now, you got a lot of market consolidation going on in the HVAC industry. A lot of big money's coming into the market, and they're coming in and rolling up companies and buying them. Um, but, they're successful doing that because they have a plan. They know what they're going to do. They got marketing and sales tactics and written processes and systems. So that's why they're able to capitalize off of that investment. But once you have those things, then you go do the same thing. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to roll up companies. We're going to spread out. And because the principle is this, here's the principle. We're going to open another branch of our company about 100 miles away at the beach. We're going to open one down at the beach. We have clients already, multifamily clients that already have properties at the beach. So we already have work anytime we want it. So we just got to tell them, hey, we got a branch now at the beach in Wilmington. So they're going to give us the work. We got the work here. So we go down there, we open our branch. I got 5 to 7 guys that are trained. They know the processes. They know the systems. They can, when they want the opportunity, people want bigger positions, right? Somebody's got to be the GM.
True.
Somebody's got to move to be the GM. There you go. Here's your location, dog. Boom. You hold it down. You got people moving up. People want to grow. So now you got another location. But guess what? You don't need another me. You don't need another CFO. You don't need another operations, guy, like a head of operations, like a president. You don't need another call center. You can reuse all of those same resources, that we have now. We can reuse them and make money over here in this other community. And we're sharing the resources. We're sharing the overhead. And then you do it again. And then you do it again. And then you do it again. And before long, you got like 10, heating and air offices, reliable heating and air offices all over, North Carolina, and then you start getting some out of state assistance because the licensing, you have to get licensed in different states.
Yeah.
It starts spreading, So that's our strategy, and that's our goal is to keep growing our company, get other locations, and then build our team, build our staff to where those GMs can be created, more service techs, more sales managers that can run those locations. And then everything becomes cheaper when you can share the resources. We become
True.
become wider. Yeah.
True. You're already doing so great, and I'm pretty sure you would kill it in the upcoming years, man. If you could give one piece of advice to someone just getting into the HVAC business, what would it be?
Yeah, that's a good question. A good question. What I would tell a person is you have to be a good salesperson if you want to be an entrepreneur. If you want to start a business, you need to know how to sell the job. Everything starts with a sell. Don't nothing move without a sell. So if you got to be the starter. If you're the starter, then you have to start this thing. So you got to be good at sales.
True.
And then you have to have a sales process already documented. I know you can be a natural. Usually it's the natural salespeople. They're like, oh yeah, I can sell it. I can go ahead and start a business. Yeah, you can. But if you can spend a little time and really get a real sales process that you can teach and train, you're gonna be that much better. You're gonna be that much better because now you can replicate yourself, which is that you have to know how to do that. You have to be willing to train and teach people and grow people because that's what the business is all about. It's about the people you have. So if you can sell, you have a nice good sell process. You can train people, and then you have to sell at the market rate. That's a big. People try to come in, they try to undercut. They want to sell it for cheap because they don't need it really because it's like it's just too bad. Right? You don't need all that money. You don't need to sell, systems for $12,000-$15,000. You don't have to, right? Yeah, you don't have to, but you still need to because you don't sell based on the structure that you have right now. You don't sell based on the overhead you have right now. You sell based on the overhead that you want. If you want to get bigger, then you need to sell bigger. You need to sell like the big boys that's selling out there with you right now. And then with the money, the extra money you have, you invest in your infrastructure. Now you got more money to come buy some trucks. Now you got more money. You can go buy a building. You can get some insurance for your guys. But you have to present yourself like you're a legit company, and then you have to sell like you're a legit company. I'll tell you a quick story. When I was first starting out, and nobody told me this. I had to learn this. I was selling like cheap. I was selling cheap to $4,000, $5,000. This was also like over a decade ago. So you know what? I was not making good sales. I wasn't really making good sales. They're selling so cheap. It wasn't until I raised my prices that I started making more sales. Because people don't take you serious if you're so low. They're like, you're cutting corners. You're doing something that's not right. They're scared. They're scared. They're scared. You're like, man, I got 3 quotes and you were like $5,000 cheaper. And it's like they might not trust you, and I will make them. If you're competing against me, I'm gonna make them not trust you because I'm like they're gonna say, "Oh, yeah, this guy he's $8,000 cheaper than you." I'm like $8,000 cheaper than what mine is. I was like, Then I'm like, how do you think he did that? That's what I'm about. I'm like, how do you think he's $8,000 cheaper than me? Like I went through everything with you and told you everything that we were gonna do, and everything. So he's like, they're like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know either. I ain't trying to find out though. I mean, because they're just gonna automatically think like you're cutting corners. You're being shiesty. There's too many shiesty contractors out here. So that's the quick way to get money. Is just like, hey, just let me get cheaper. Nah, don't go cheaper. Sell your worth, and then get the money, and then buy things. Get good guys. Pay them good money, good wages, and and this all comes down to sales, man. It all comes down to sales. If you can get a nice, good, strong sales game, money covers a multitude of sins. Money, you gotta have some money to cover over the problems. Money covers the problems in the company. So if you can generate some money, you got it. And then I'll tell you, I know I'm just talking now, man. I'm going to keep on talking, but
No,
there's an unlimited source. This is unlimited source of money. Unlimited because of one resource you have. Creativity. If you gotta be creative with your sales, with your builds, your packages. When you package these items together and you make this, that comes along with your install. The rugged package or the air quality package or this. And now you're selling something different. And it's just thoughts. It's just you created it. You made a line item for it. You know how to explain it. You taught it to your guys. And now you created something that you can sell to make your value higher. The indoor air quality process framework, I created it. I thought about it. I figured it out, and I figured out how we could sell it. The sales strategy, for it, and then it sells. But if it's just some pieces that I put together and says some stories, about it. It's all true. Everything's all true. Did research and brought it out and put it all together and put a name on it. Got some information and some case studies about it. And then you know how to ask questions that lead to the solutions that you can provide. You ask questions that brings out problems, and you have solutions that can fix it. So once you can do those things and have the creativity with sales, man, the world's your oyster. You can do whatever you want. You can do as much as you want, however you want to do it. So that's my advice.
Sales is the key. Yeah, sales is the key for sure. Joel, this has been absolutely incredible. So many actionable insights for our listeners and me personally as well. I'm just pumped right now. Thank you so much for being here today, man. Thanks a lot. Man. And to all our HVAC Hotshots listeners, until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and I'll be bringing up guys like Joel who are sharing heck a ton of stuff, and those are actually actionable insights. That was it for today's, guys. I hope you like this. If you have got any questions, feel free to comment below. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye. Have a great day.